Hello and welcome. We are live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next hour, India's space agency ISRO set to execute key maneuver on Saturday. Aditya L1, first Indian solar mission to be placed in final orbit, L1 point. US Supreme Court to hear Trump appeal over Colorado ballot disqualification that ruled him ineligible for state ballot. As the Israel-Hamas conflict nears 3-month US Secretary of State, EU Foreign Policy Chief visit West Asia to stop the spillover beyond Gaza. And in sports, ICC T20 Cricket World Cup 2024 to begin from June 1st. India face Pakistan on June 9th in New York. Final on June 29th. All right, we'll start with the top story. India's space agency ISRO is set to execute a maneuver on Saturday, placing the Aditya L1 spacecraft, India's first space-based solar observatory, in its final orbit, located 1.5 million kilometers away from the Earth. The critical maneuver involves the firing of thrusters in order to change the speed and trajectory of the spacecraft. DD India's Aisha Khanum reports on Aditya L1's date with the Sun.
Though the intended L1 point is about 1.5 million kilometers from the Earth, this is just 1% of the total distance between the Earth and the Sun. It is from here Aditya will begin its study of Sun without interruptions. Getting into this orbit is quite challenging, and it is the first time that ISRO is attempting such a maneuver. This maneuver is critical. It involves the firing of thrusters in order to change the speed and trajectory of the spacecraft. If the intended orbit is missed in the first attempt, there would be multiple subsequent corrections and thruster firings required. Since September 18, just 16 days into its journey, Aditya had started collecting scientific data and imaging the Sun. The scientists have so far obtained the first sneak peek into high-energy X-ray of solar flares, full solar disk images and others. Aditya has 7 scientific payloads, of which the Visible Emission Line Coronagraph, Solar Ultraviolet Imaging Telescope, that is SOOT, Solar Low Energy X-ray Spectrometer, High Energy L1 Orbiting X-ray Spectrometer are designed to directly track the Sun.
Already ISRO has provided data from its scientific satellite, whether it is from Chandrayaan 1, 2, 3, Mangalyaan, AstroSat, YouthSat, Meghatropics, such things. I'm sure ISRO is going to publish the data which was collected by Aditya L1 also to the international community as such. So this is for the entire humanity to manage the effects of solar anger, okay, at the global level.
These are other on-site measuring instruments like the Aditya Solar Wind Particle Experiment, that is ASPEX, Plasma Analyzer Package for Aditya, that is PAPA, and advanced tri-axial high-resolution digital magnetometers. 4 instruments, including PAPA, and 1 component, the Solar Wind Ion Spectrometer of ASPEX, was switched on during the spacecraft's cruising phase and are reportedly functioning well. Once Aditya is inserted into a halo orbit around L1, the satellite will have full access to solar storms, radiations, and other emissions emerging from the Sun, even before they are directed towards Earth or come under the influence of the Earth's magnetic field. SOOT payload on the top deck of the Aditya L1 will be among the first to get operational once the spacecraft reaches L1.
India's ambitious mission Aditya L1 will reach its final destination on January 6th, and this will be yet another milestone and ISRO adding another feather in its cap. With cameraman Muni Krishna, Aisha Khanam, DD India, Bangalore.
Is joining us live from Bengaluru. Aisha, good morning. Historic moment this. Another milestone. ISRO all geared up to perform a crucial maneuver. Like you said in the report also, first time attempting this maneuver.
Yes, absolutely, Abhishek. It's a milestone. It's a big day for ISRO today, and ISRO is waiting eagerly to, looking forward to insert Aditya L1 into the intended orbit. Now, remember, this is a position from where Aditya L1 can watch the sun uninterrupted. There is no sunset here from this Lagrange point, and this L1 point will give enough data which can be gathered by Aditya L1, wherein this data can be utilized to take preventive actions against the sun activities, the solar flares, the coronal activities, and many such activities which affect the Earth atmosphere and also the space systems as such. So this is going to be a very ambitious project, and you can imagine Aditya L1 as an ambitious young man going closer to the sun, wearing a very high resolution glasses. And these glasses are those payloads, that Aditya L1 is carrying. And these payloads are so sophisticated, so advanced that they take the pictures, they capture the sun images, and they capture the data of the sun in in the fraction of line of the sun as a line, which is a visible emission line spectrum, which is the entire sun can be captured as a line, and this line can be studied as one by one as to what causes the solar flares, what causes the coronal activities in the sun as such. And also, this entire data can be utilized to monitor the space weather and also the electromagnetic field activities which affect the Earth. Whenever there is a sudden sun flare, there are mass ejections from the sun. And though this mission this mission's lifetime period is for 5 years, but it will capture enough data which the international scientific community will be able to decode it for years to come, so that they can take preventive actions against the sudden activities in the sun and also on the coronal surface of the sun.
Right, Aisha, certainly big day for ISRO and for India too. But Aisha, if reaching L1 is a challenging journey, staying there is also very tricky. Can you tell us in brief what are the different challenges for the ISRO?
Well, the challenge right now, ISRO has found this L1 place as a most suitable place to balance Aditya L1, and also the challenge could be like if ISRO misses the orbit insertion today, this could also lead to multiple corrections. They could have to do more corrections to put it in the intended orbit. This way, it can lose some fuel from the orbit. So, loss of fuel means there will be, loss of lifespan of the satellite as such. So, ISRO hopes that they do not have to waste any fuel in the satellite, so that this remains, for the intended period of 5 years. So, this is the one challenge that ISRO looks at. But if everything goes well today, the intended period of 5 years lifespan will be the suitable time where Aditya L1 can study the sun continuously.
All right, Aisha, I will leave it at that. Thank you for the time being, but we'll keep taking updates from you. All right, in another update, India's space agency ISRO has qualified 10AH silicon graphite anode-based high-energy density lithium-ion cells as a low-weight and low-cost alternative to present cells being used. With 35 to 40% battery mass savings, these cells are set to make future space and ground applications lighter and more efficient. ISRO conducted a flight demonstration of the cells as a battery on PSLV C58's POEM-3 platform, which was successfully completed through the experiment. In the experiment, the cells were subjected to harsh space environment to check their capability to survive in that situation. All right, moving further, in a swift response, an Indian warship intercepted a hijacked merchant vessel in the Arabian Sea. All 21 crew, including 15 Indians on board a cargo vessel which was hijacked by pirates off the coast of Somalia, have been rescued. the Indian Navy said in a statement on Friday. The Navy's elite marine commandos, or Marcos, conducted sanitization operations in the vessel. The Marcos have confirmed the absence of the hijackers. The attempted hijacking was probably abandoned after a warning by the Indian Navy, and the vessel was intercepted. The INS Chennai is in the vicinity of the vessel and rendering support to restore the power generation and propulsion and commence her voyage to next port of call. Now, Iranian authorities said that security forces have arrested 11 suspects in connection with the twin bomb blast in Kerman on Wednesday. Earlier, the Islamic State K group claimed responsibility for the attacks, which killed nearly 100 people and several others injured. According to a statement from Iran's intelligence ministry, security forces arrested 2 people in connection with the suicide bombing in Kerman, as well as 9 others in different parts of Iran suspected of being involved in the incident. The attack came as thousands of people gathered to mourn the 4-year anniversary of the general's death. Among the casualties were 12 children under the age of 15. Iran's president and the commander-in-chief of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps vowed revenge during an address at the funeral for the victims of the twin bombings. In a new diplomatic push to avoid the spillover of Israel-Hamas conflict beyond Gaza, top US and Europe diplomats are visiting the region. United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken has landed in Istanbul, his first stop on a week-long trip to West Asia and Europe. Blinken will be holding talks with Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan and President Tayyip Erdogan. This is Blinken's 4th trip to West Asia since the Israel-Hamas conflict began in October last year. Meanwhile, European Union's foreign policy chief Josep Borrell is visiting Lebanon to explore ways to avoid regional escalation. The visit comes as Israel continues its operation against Hamas. On Saturday, the Israeli Defense Forces said they have operated at a Hamas terrorist quarters under a hotel near the beach in northern Gaza. The IDF said terrorists exploited the hotel, using the place to plan and execute attacks. Multiple weapons, including AK-47s, explosives and drones were found under the hotel. Meanwhile, tightening the noose on Hamas, the US is offering up to $10 million for information on 5 Hamas financiers or anything leading to the disruption of the Palestinian militant group's financial mechanisms. The US State Department said that the rewards would be for information on any source of revenue for Hamas, major donors, financial institutions that facilitate transactions for Hamas, front companies that procure dual-use technology for the group, and criminal schemes that benefit Hamas. According to the State Department, the reward offering follows 4 rounds of US sanctions on Hamas after the group's deadly incursion into Israel on 7th October, which Israel says killed 1,200 people. All right, on to Russia-Ukraine conflict. Russian air defense units downed missiles and drones in a series of overnight attacks over the Crimea Peninsula in the western part of the Black Sea on Saturday. Russia said its forces had destroyed 10 incoming missiles over the peninsula. Russia's defense ministry reported the downing of 36 Ukrainian drones over Crimea. The strikes come as Ukraine recently stepped up attacks on Russian targets in and around Crimea. Now, ports in Ukraine's Black Sea region of Odessa boosted cargo handling in 2023 by 15% year-on-year, Regional Governor Ole Kuiper said on Friday. The ports of Big Odessa handled 50 million tons of cargo in 2023. Kuiper said a large part of the cargo was farm goods sent to destinations in Europe, Asia and the United States. All right, we'll slip it away, short break, but still to come on DD India News Hour. At least 4 people die after a train in the Gopi Bagh area of Bangladesh's capital Dhaka set on fire. 3 Kings parades celebrated the Efni Delight crowds in Madrid.
We bring to you the legendary city of Ayodhya and tell you what makes Ayodhya everything that has got to do with the land of Lord Ram.
यहाँ रग रग में हर जगह राम ही है। सनातन धर्म के लिए तो गौरव की बात है। कण कण में भी भगवान राम की सत्ता का एहसास हमें होता है यदि हम लोग ध्यान से उसका अवलोकन करें। आज भी होता है।
This is 10th century old Hanumangadi temple.
यहाँ हनुमान जी महाराज राजा के रूप में बैठे हैं। भारत की संस्कार, संस्कृति मठ से, मंदिर से, साधु से, संत से, ऋषि से, मुनि से, महात्मा से जुड़ा हुआ है।
ये विष्णु का मस्तक है, तो यहाँ पे हर कण पावन है। यहाँ
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. The United States Supreme Court agreed to hear former President Donald Trump's appeal of Colorado ballot disqualification on Friday. The appeal follows Colorado Supreme Court's December 19 ruling, which barred Trump from state's primary ballot for engaging in insurrection involving the U.S. Capitol attack on January 6, 2021 by his supporters.
Supreme Court is taking the case from Colorado, and so they'll make a decision. And you know what I do find, and you know, maybe say it, maybe don't, but I say it. I guess it's a different wiring system or something, but all I want is fair. I fought really hard to get 3 very, very good people, and they're great people, very smart people, and I just hope that they're going to be fair because, you know, the other side plays the ref.
U.S. President Joe Biden put safety and defense of democracy at the center of his speech during a campaign in the state of Pennsylvania on Friday. Biden also marked 3 years of January 6 attack on the Capitol, targeting former President Donald Trump. Listen in.
Today, I make this sacred pledge to you: the defense, protection, and preservation of American democracy will remain, as it has been, the central cause of my presidency.
Donald Trump hit back against Democratic President Joe Biden as he addressed several hundred supporters during his speech in his first visit to Iowa on Friday. The former president also presented a dark portrait of the United States, listing its failing policies and immigration issues. Listen in.
Under the Trump administration, you were better off, your family was better off, your neighbors were better off, your communities were better off, and our country was better off. The whole country was better off. America was stronger, richer, safer, and more confident. But now we're a nation in decline. We are a failing nation. We are a nation that has lost its confidence.
Sudan's army chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, on Friday vowed to continue a 9-month war between the military and the paramilitary rapid support forces, rejecting the latest peace efforts. Sudan's army chief al-Burhan accused paramilitary RSF of war crimes and crimes against humanity in West Darfur and the rest of Sudan. The US has accused both the army and the RSF for war crimes, and it says the RSF is also responsible for crimes against humanity and ethnic cleansing. The war that began on April 15 has devastated wide swathes of Sudan and displaced more than 7.5 million people. Now, Senegal's Constitutional Council on Friday rejected jailed opposition leader Ousmane Sonko's application to run for president in elections next month due to mission documents, his lawyer said. The ruling deals a hard blow to Sonko's presidential aspirations, already hampered by a flurry of court cases. The legal saga embroiling the popular opposition politician has fueled several bouts of sometimes deadly unrest over the past 2 years. He was arrested in July for insurrection and stuck off the electoral roll, but still submitted his candidacy from prison after a court in the south of Senegal ruled in his favor. Sonko denies any wrongdoing and says all charges against him are politically motivated. Now, in Bangladesh, at least 4 people were killed and several injured as unidentified miscreants set fire to a Benapole Express train in Dhaka on Friday night. 4 compartments of Dhaka-bound Benapole Express trains were burned, said fire service media cell official. 8 firefighting units doused the flame after about 1.5 hours of frantic efforts. However, multiple incidents of fire and violence were reported throughout Bangladesh as ahead of general election scheduled for January 7. And Bangladesh is all set for its 12th parliament election that is scheduled to take place on Sunday. These are the visuals that we are showing you of Bangladesh train which was set on fire. But talking about Bangladesh polls, it will be held on January 7th. The ruling party Awami League will look forward for re-election, making it their 4th term. Meanwhile, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, a major opposition party, called a countrywide strike from Saturday morning to Monday morning as part of their movement to boycott the national elections, alleging that free and fair election is not possible under the current government. Whereas the Dhaka Metropolitan Police has also banned movement of taxi cabs, pickups, microbuses, trucks, etc. from Saturday midnight to Sunday midnight. Armed forces will also be deployed across Bangladesh till January 10th to ensure peace and order before, during and after the election day. All right, let's go across to Dhaka now, where DD India's Naval Singh Parmar is joining us live. Naval Singh, a very good morning to you. But train on fire right ahead of the elections. Is it act of sabotage aimed at scaring people ahead of the elections?
Yes, very recent statement from the Dhaka Metropolitan Police has came, and they are suspect that it is sabotage case to scare the voters from going to voting or voting booth. Yeah.
And Naval Singh, also election slated for tomorrow, that is January 7th. Tell us about the security arrangements and also who is the front runner?
Yes, there is a heavy deployment of security forces across the country. Apart from Border Guard Bangladesh, Armed Police and Rapid Action Battalion, there is deployment of armed forces across the country in almost all the 64 districts of the Bangladesh, and they will be stationed at the strategic location or the nodal point from where, if it is required, then they can be moved rapidly to assist the local authorities and the election commission.
And Naval Singh, also a bit of analysis here. What impact you think will Bangladesh elections will have on India? What does this mean for India, the electoral outcomes?
This is the domestic affairs of Bangladesh, and as we are a close neighbor, and we are having a very long border with Bangladesh of around 4,000 kilometers. So definitely there will be a effect of whatever happening in Bangladesh. But this is the domestic affairs of Bangladesh. Whoever comes on power, it depends on the people of Bangladesh to whom they choose.
Right, Naval Singh, last question before we leave you. Tell us about the economic success under Sheikh Hasina's leadership since 2009. And according to the stats, it is, if I'm not wrong, one of the fastest growing economies.
Yes, as stated by the government source from Bangladesh, that it is one of the fastest growing economy in South Asia, and at the same time they are doing pretty much to develop infrastructure in the country. As you know that the country is having a scarce land resource, and they are having 18 crores of population. So they need to do something more in the field of infrastructure and to provide employment, and at the same time they need to do much to create a job as well as to curtail the inflation, because inflation is running very high in Bangladesh nowadays.
All right, elections slated to be held on January 7th, and Sheikh Hasina is the front runner. Thank you, Naval Singh. We'll leave it at that, but we'll keep taking updates from you. Now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has been hospitalized since January 1st for an unspecified medical matter, as per the Pentagon report. However, the details about why he is in the hospital has stayed a secret all week. 70-year-old Austin sits just below President Joe Biden at the top of the chain of command of US military, and his duties require him being available at a moment's notice to respond to any manner of national security crisis. Thousands of children lined up in the main boulevard of central Madrid on Friday, waiting with bags to receive sweets during the annual Epiphany Parade. Flanked by dancers, musicians and performers, three wise men parades traditionally take place all over the country on January 5th to mark the eve of the Epiphany. American rock band Paramore took to social media to announce that they won't be performing at the LA concert to headline the iHeartRadio alter ego, saying they are sorry for any inconvenience caused. Meanwhile, Paramore's official website has recently been taken offline and posts have been removed from their social media account. And the 40th Harbin International Ice and Snow Sculpture Festival officially opened in China with a spectacular fireworks display and over 100 different ice and snow leisure activities. This year, the Harbin Ice Snow World has been crafted into miniature versions of landmark buildings and sculptures. The festival's opening marked the beginning of the Ice City's winter tourism golden period, with the event set to run for around 2 months until early March. Time now for another short break, but still to come on DD India News Hour. Taiwan's defense ministry accuses China of threatening aviation safety and waging psychological warfare with the recent spate of balloons spotted near or over the island days before key Taiwanese elections. And Bolivian authorities announced their largest ever cocaine seizure of $224 million.
We bring to you the legendary city of Ayodhya and tell you what makes Ayodhya everything that has got to do with the land of Lord Ram.
यहाँ रग रग में हर जगह राम ही है। सनातन धर्म के लिए तो गौरव की बात है। कण कण में भी भगवान राम की सत्ता का एहसास हमें होता है यदि हम लोग ध्यान से उसका अवलोकन करें। आज भी होता है।
This is 10th century old Hanumangadi temple.
यहाँ हनुमान जी महाराज राजा के रूप में बैठे हैं। भारत की संस्कार, संस्कृति मठ से, मंदिर से, साधु से, संत से, ऋषि से, मुनि से, महात्मा से जुड़ा हुआ है।
ये विष्णु का मस्तक है, तो यहाँ पे हर कण पावन है। यहाँ
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan, and the viewers who have just tuned in, recap of what we have done so far. India Space Agency ISRO set to execute key maneuver on Saturday. Aditya L1, first Indian solar mission to be placed in final orbit L1 point. US Supreme Court to hear Trump appeal over Colorado ballot disqualification that ruled him ineligible for state ballot. As the Israel-Hamas conflict nears 3-month, US Secretary of State, EU Foreign Policy Chief visit West Asia to stop the spillover beyond Gaza. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a 3-day visit to Jaipur, the capital state of Rajasthan, to participate in the National Conference of Director General and Inspector General of Police. The 3-day event was inaugurated on 5th January by the Indian Home Minister Amit Shah. The conference deliberates on the challenges of safety and security. All right, let's go across to Jaipur now. DD India's Vishal Barristo is joining us live. Vishal, PM Modi attending the DG-IGP conference today. Currently, he's attending, I believe. Tell us the agenda of the conference and wide range of policing and internal security issues likely to be discussed.
Well, absolutely. A very good morning to you. The Prime Minister is here. In fact, he was here yesterday. He was here to attend the BJP's conference. Today, he's attending this very important DG-IGP conference, which is of national level, and the chiefs of IB, RAW, and other police organizations are also attending this conference. That includes the central police organizations as well. Now, this conference is deliberating on the challenges of cybersecurity, national safety, and international security. Remember, Rajasthan shares an international border. It's a long border with Pakistan, so there are border issues as well. But the whole focus is to how upgrade the technological advancements of the police organizations and how to keep them upgraded.
Right, Vishal, also another key agenda of the conference is deliberations on the roadmap for implementation of the new criminal laws.
Well, absolutely. The Parliament has just passed the 3 new criminal laws, and how can they be beneficial for the common citizen is the whole idea. Apart from the security issues, this is another important issue which was highlighted by the Home Minister Amit Shah when he inaugurated this event. Now, when we talk about this conference, the Prime Minister is attending this conference. First of all, the DG the Director Generals of different organizations and different states would be presenting their report to the Prime Minister, and during lunch he would be having a one-on-one with different Director Generals. So this is going to be a very important day, and the roadmap would be prepared, and that would be on how to have an upgraded intelligent force that could deal with the modern day issues like cyber attacks, cyber security. Artificial intelligence has a lot of focus on this in this conference, because the use of artificial intelligence, the government wants that it should be upgraded and also used more and more for the safety and security as far as the country is concerned.
Right, Vishal, before we leave you, the Prime Minister also visited the party headquarters yesterday, where he assessed the organizational affairs and also reviewed preparations for the upcoming Lok Sabha elections. What more can you tell us on this?
Well, certainly the Prime Minister had a review meeting rather, and it was on the issues of why BJP won. Remember, BJP has recently won the state elections in Rajasthan, and how it can be continued. The Prime Minister also asked the party workers what were the main issue and what were the reasons for the defeat of the Congress party, and they said that it was basically factionalism within the party and also corruption. So Prime Minister warned the party workers and also the newly elected members in the State Assembly to be aware of all these issues, because these issues are to be taken care of, and BJP should fight unitedly as far as the 2024 elections, general elections are concerned. Rajasthan has 25 seats up for grabs, and BJP is eyeing all these 25 seats. Apart from that, Prime Minister also spoke about how the central schemes of the government could be benefited. He also asked the lawmakers to prepare for the mega show at the Ram Janmabhoomi, the inauguration of the Ram temple in Ayodhya, and asked the lawmakers to see that they light up at least 5 lamps in their houses. Of course, not everybody can attend this event, but wherever they are, whatever they do, they should participate sitting back in their houses in this mega event.
All right, Vishal, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for your views from Jaipur. Moving on to our next story now, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has concluded his visit to Nepal. In a social media post, Dr. S. Jaishankar on Saturday shared highlights of his visit. The key highlights of his 2-day visit to Kathmandu include meeting with Nepal's President and Prime Minister, co-chairing the 7th India-Nepal Joint Commission along with his Nepalese counterpart NP South, exchange of agreement for the implementation of high-impact community development projects in Nepal, and another agreement for long-term power trade between India and Nepal. The minister also inaugurated many post-earthquake reconstruction projects in Nepal. All right, now let's take a look at other stories making news. Indian government's nationwide outreach initiative Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra has crossed a major milestone. In a short span of just 50 days, over 100 million people have participated in the Yatra. The Yatra remains to attain saturation of flagship schemes of the Indian government by ensuring that the benefits of these schemes reach targeted beneficiaries. The flagship scheme of Indian government Jal Jeevan Mission has provided tap water connections to over 140 million rural households so far. The scheme has covered over 72% rural households till date and achieved this milestone within 4 years of the initiative. Jal Jeevan Mission is envisioned to provide safe and adequate drinking water through individual household tap connections by 2024 to all households in rural India. Indian security forces carried out the Republic Day parade rehearsals amid dense fog and chill winters in the Indian capital Delhi. The 75th Republic Day parade of India is slated to take place on January 26, which will be marked by a visit from French President Emmanuel Macron as the chief guest. A unique cricket tournament to promote Sanskrit is organized in central Indian state of Madhya Pradesh. Amidst the chants of mantras, the Vedic cricket tournament started at Ankur Khel Maidan in Bhopal city. The players, clad in traditional Indian attire, dhoti and kurtas from different regions, participating. The tournament is organized to mark the birth anniversary of Indian saint Maharshi Mahesh Yogi. And Czech Republic women's hockey team performed the traditional Indian dance as the team arrives in Ranchi city in the Indian state of Jharkhand ahead of the International Hockey Federation Olympic qualifiers. The Hockey India has formally signed the Memorandum of Understanding for hosting the upcoming Hockey Olympic qualifiers Ranchi 2024 in Jharkhand. All right, some more stories now. Venezuela's National Assembly re-elected Jorge Rodriguez as leader of the board of directors on Friday. The opposition National Assembly extended the functions of a committee it had appointed to govern the country's foreign assets since it voted to remove interim President Juan Guaido in 2022. Venezuela's assets held abroad include bank accounts, gold held in the Bank of England and oil refiner Citgo Petroleum. A former Colorado police officer was sentenced on Friday to 14 months in jail for his role in the 2019 killing of Elijah McClain, a young black man who was not suspected of any crime. The police roughly restrained him and paramedics injected him with a powerful sedative, leading to his death. And the new year took a surprising turn for a Haitian migrant stranded in Mexico as he found himself employed as one of 3 wise men during a fair. John Dixon has been waiting to go to the US, but paperwork has caused much delay. Due to language barrier and racism, finding a job has been a problem for the young man. Now in Bolivia, the authorities have announced their largest ever cocaine seizure on Friday, valuing $224 million. According to the Bolivian president, nearly 9 metric tons of cocaine has been seized. The drugs were hidden in wooden flooring materials found in a truck and were likely destined to the Netherlands, where the value would increase to $526 million. According to officials, the operation also included the arrest of 4 suspected drug traffickers. Now, tensions are escalating on the Korean peninsula. South Korea has conducted live fire drills after North Korea fired more than 200 artillery rounds near a disputed sea boundary between the two countries. Seoul held Pyongyang responsible for escalating tensions on the peninsula and warned that it will have to pay the price for its misadventure.
North Korea on Friday fired more than 200 rounds of artillery shells into the sea near a tense maritime border. The shells landed north of the northern limit line, the de facto sea boundary between the two Koreas, and towards 2 South Korean islands. However, no casualties were reported.
North Korean military fired more than 200 artillery shells from Jangspan Cape north of Bangyong Island and Donsan Cape north of Yeopang Island. There is no damage to our people and the military, and the shells splashed into the north of the northern limit line.
Seoul warned North Korea and responded with live fire drill of heavy-duty weapons in Yeonpyeong Island.
We sternly warn North Korea that they are fully responsible for this escalation of the crisis, and we strongly urge them to stop it. Our military is tracking and monitoring related situations in close cooperation with the US and the South Korea, and will implement measures in response to the North Korea's provocation.
Situated in the Yellow Sea, Yeonpyeong Island is home to over 2,000 residents and troops stationed there. The exchange led residents of 2 remote South Korean islands on the western maritime frontier to evacuate to bomb shelters at the instruction of the South military.
I think people have to be certainly informed of the reason why we have to evacuate and how and where to evacuate, since we do not generally know where evacuation shelters or bunkers are at.
The waters near the disputed NLL have been the site of several deadly clashes between the North and South Korea, including battles involving warships and the sinking of a South Korean corvette in 2010 by what is believed to be a North Korean torpedo, killing 46 sailors. Bureau Report, DD India.
Now, Taiwan has accused China of endangering its international aviation safety as well, waging psychological warfare. The statements by Taiwan's defense ministry come after balloons were spotted over the island, which it says are potentially used by China for spying. Taiwan is on a high alert for Chinese military and political activity as it nears its January 13 presidential and parliamentary elections. And after a deadly 7.6 magnitude earthquake hit the peninsula, the Noto region of Japan's Ishikawa prefecture is suffering severe water and food shortages. On Saturday, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida said that the death toll from the earthquake has now reached over 100 people. Kishida also stressed the need to improve routes and road conditions to the evacuation centers to deliver more food, water for the evacuees. All right, time now for another short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. North India continues to reel under cold wave. Delhi, Haryana and Chandigarh record temperatures less than the normal. Travellers face delays, cancellation. And Australia sinks Pakistan, whitewashes 3-0 in David Warner's farewell Test series.
We bring to you the legendary city of Ayodhya and tell you what makes Ayodhya everything that has got to do with the land of Lord Ram.
यहाँ रग रग में हर जगह राम ही है। सनातन धर्म के लिए तो गौरव की बात है। कण कण में भी भगवान राम की सत्ता का एहसास हमें होता है यदि हम लोग ध्यान से उसका अवलोकन करें। आज भी होता है।
This is 10th century old Hanumangadi temple.
यहाँ हनुमान जी महाराज राजा के रूप में बैठे हैं। भारत की संस्कार, संस्कृति मठ से, मंदिर से, साधु से, संत से, ऋषि से, मुनि से, महात्मा से जुड़ा हुआ है।
ये विष्णु का मस्तक है, तो यहाँ पे हर कण पावन है। यहाँ
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Weather updates now. Following widespread floods across Britain, drone footage showed flooding near a river and bridge in Bewdley, England. More than 300 flood warnings have been issued by the British government. Transport agencies have warned of significant disruptions and some 1,000 properties have already been damaged. The continuous rainfall that followed a series of storms in recent weeks swiftly has led to already high rivers and waterways throughout England and Wales to overflow their banks. Dry weather is expected to follow with rains in the coming days. And cold to severe cold day conditions will continue to prevail at several places in North India. Places like Delhi, Haryana and Chandigarh record temperatures less than the normal. The maximum temperature in Delhi was recorded at 14 degrees Celsius, which is 4 degrees less than the normal temperature in the region. The India Met Department has also issued warning of dense fog in various cities of North India. All right, DD India, Jessica Taneja is joining us live from Delhi. Good morning, Jessica. North India shivers under the grip of cold wave and Delhi is also engulfed with a thick layer of fog. Tell us what's the forecast and how long will the extreme cold persist?
Well, Abhishek, if you see right behind me, and in fact, I am on the 3rd floor of this building and there is barely any visibility. In the morning in New Delhi, around 6 a.m., it was reported that visibility was around 200 meters. It gradually improved as we progressed into the day to 500 meters. A lot of flights have been cancelled, trains have been delayed. Those are one of the few things and the problems that the passengers are facing at this point. And also traffic on the road is slightly affected, but due to the weekend, it shouldn't be so chaotic on the streets. And that's the last update. And the Delhi Police's update, the last update of Delhi Police is probably put out. As for the schools, moving forward to the next week, we're expecting until Tuesday at least the cold conditions would continue. That is what the IMD has updated, and there could also be a possibility of rainfall, slight rainfall Tuesday onwards. But yes, the dense fog, as you pointed out, today would continue tomorrow as well. So hopefully things should be better next week. But around Wednesday or Thursday is what the IMD predicts.
Okay, and poor visibility has caused disruptions in flight and train services. Also must be throwing people's travel plans in chaos. And yes, it's advisable to check and recheck the train and flight schedule before leaving their homes.
Absolutely, it is. And in fact, a lot of airlines have put out advisories, especially weather advisories, and people reaching airport in case flights are cancelled. We've seen advisories from airlines like Indigo and Air India as well. So, of course, there is a concerted effort to sort of ease those, situations for passengers who probably in the last minute have not been able to check the kind of weather updates that are dictating the airspace at this point. So, of course, travel plans certainly disrupted, but I think since the holiday season has almost come to an end, it shouldn't be creating or wreaking havoc, I'd say. But at this point, from what we've heard so far, these cold conditions would continue, and expect more disruptions, not only in travel, but also on the road in the next few days as people now start going to work on Monday.
All right, Jessica, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for getting us the latest from New Delhi. Moving on to our next story now, United States Trade Representative Captain Tai will travel to New Delhi, India from January 12th to 14th. On January 12th, Ambassador Tai and India's Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal will co-chair the 14th ministerial level meeting of the United States-India Trade Policy Forum. She will also meet business leaders and stakeholders to discuss commitment to fostering closer ties between the two countries. The US-India trade relationship continues to grow stronger and benefit both nations throughout the past year as Ambassador Tai and India's Minister Piyush Goyal reached several milestone agreements that deliver crucial market access to both the nations. All right, time now for some sporting action. We'll start with cricket. The International Cricket Council have announced their schedule for the 2024 T20 World Cup. The tournament, which will be hosted by USA and West Indies, will see co-host USA kicking off the campaign against Canada on June 1st. The tournament will end on June 29th. England are the title holders, having beaten Pakistan in Melbourne in November 2022. All details ahead.
The International Cricket Council have announced the schedule and groups for the 2024 T20 Cricket World Cup to be held in West Indies and USA. The showpiece event will begin from June 1 with the final on June 29. Co-host USA will take on Canada in the opening match on June 1. India will start their campaign on June 5 against Ireland. The men in blue then take on arch-rivals Pakistan on 9th of June, USA on June 12 and Canada on June 15th. Defending champions England and 2021 winner Australia have been assigned to Group B, which also includes Namibia, Scotland and Oman. New Zealand are in Group C with the West Indies, Afghanistan, Uganda and Papua New Guinea. South Africa has been assigned to Group D, which includes Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Netherlands and Nepal. While the format that was used till 2022 featured a qualification stage consisting of associate and lower ranked countries before a Super 12 stage followed by the knockouts, the new format will have two group stages involving all the 20 teams and then the semi-finals. The teams are divided into 5 groups of 4 teams each. The teams that finish in the top 2 of each of these groups then qualify for the Super 8s, where they will be divided into 2 groups of 4. The teams that finish in the top 2 then subsequently play the semi-finals. The group stage will be held from June 1 to 18. Followed by the Super 8 matches, which will take place from June 19 to 24. The semi-finals of the tournament will take place on June 26 and 27. The first semi-final will take place in Guyana and the second will be held in Trinidad. The final will be played in Barbados. A total of 55 matches will be played across 9 venues as the 9th edition of the cricketing extravaganza kicks off on June.
Australia thrashed Pakistan in the third and final test match by 8 wickets at the Sydney Cricket Ground to give a memorable send-off to David Warner, who was playing his last test match. Half-centuries from Marnus Labuschagne and Warner helped Australia chase a mere 130-run target on day 4. With this win, Australia have claimed a 3-0 clean sweep in the 3-match series. Chasing 130, Australia lost an early wicket of Usman Khawaja, but Warner and Labuschagne staged a massive partnership. Warner got dismissed for 57, but Labuschagne remained unbeaten at 62. Earlier, Josh Hazlewood scalped 4 wickets as Australia bundled out Pakistan for 115. Warner's ended his Test career with a memorable 50. He finished with a total of 8,786 runs in 112 Test matches. And the Indian women's cricket team, led by half-centuries from Shefali Verma and Smriti Mandhana, registered a comprehensive 9-wicket victory over Australia in the first of the 3-match T20 series at the D.Y. Patil Stadium in Navi Mumbai on Friday. After Indian T20 captain Harmanpreet Kaur decided to bowl first, the Asian Games champions bundled out Australia on 141 in 19.2 overs before chasing down target in 17.4 overs. Pacer Tita Sadhu was named the player of the match for career best figures of 4 for 17 in 4 overs. The 19-year-old Sadhu picked up wickets of Beth Mooney, Tahalia McGrath and Ashley Gardner in the power play, and along with fellow pacer Renuka Singh reduced Australia to 33 for 4 in 6 overs. And in soccer, Tottenham Hotspur defeated fellow Premier League side Burnley to move into the 4th round of the FA Cup on Friday. Pedro Porro scored his first goal of the season for Tottenham as Spurs registered 1-0 victory over Burnley. 8-time FA Cup winners Spurs and Burnley looked destined for a replay before Porro broke the deadlock in the 78th minute of a drab game when he intercepted goalkeeper Arijanet Muric's throw, firing a rocket from long range from the top far corner. The 4th round of the tournament is scheduled for a weekend of January 27th. And the revellers brought joy and cheer to Upper Manhattan on Friday as the annual Three Kings Day Parade commenced to mark the Epiphany. Organized by El Museo de Barrio, the parade is now in its 47th year. It featured musical performances, dancers and giant puppets of the Three Kings. People dressed as 3 wise men walked at the parade's end, followed by 3 live camels. Alright, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.